Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the B Team podcast. However, you might be listening, Facebook, YouTube podcast, FCS Fans Nation, YouTube. Thank you for joining us today for tonight's episode. I would like to thank our our title sponsors of Cottonwood Coffee and Bistro in Brookings, South Dakota. Great place to get some breakfast, coffee, or even some lunch and snack throughout the day. If you want to get some of their coffee, they are in Minnesota Walmarts, and you can also get their coffee online now. Use the code JI22 to get 10% off of your order. Some restrictions may apply. They won't reply to you. I'm doing a Joe DeLeon read here. And then our other title sponsor, of course, the Great Drake's Place up in Bottle, South Dakota. Great place for pizza, burritos, burgers, calzones, the whole world of food up there. It's all fantastic. I made he let me take home pizza to cook at home when I went up there last time. Cooked it at home, and that was, I am not kidding, one of the best pizzas I've ever had. It was incredible. I guessed at the time and the temperature because I forgot to ask him and nailed it on accident, which never happens. And it was phenomenal. So now I got to make sure I think I get to Culver's because I've ate at one of our sponsors before. Each one of the last eaten. No, I've ate.
Eaten.
Aiden. No, that's definitely not a word. One of our sponsors over the last 4 weeks here, and it has been fantastic. So listen, Dustin, here, okay? I don't care. Dustin says, glad to see y'all dressed up for Hobo Week. Oh, wait, that's just Brendan's normal Wednesday wear. It is. And you know what? You be jealous, you corporate shill. I don't have to work for Shell, so I don't have to dress like that. So yeah, you be jealous, Mr. Shirt and Tie, and have to wear business wear in the airport. I wear sweatpants.
Or you could just do like Rev does and go shirtless.
Right. I could be shirtless like Rev. Here, look at me just punch my table and shake the whole thing. But I am glad to see that we are in Hobo Week tradition and not shaving. So good on us for that, even if it might be a happy accident that my wife wanted me to not shave for Halloween costumes. So it's working out for us here. Ron Lowney says Dustin comes out swinging, but his reach isn't as far as he wants. He's I'm just kidding.
I can honestly say I haven't shaved all week.
Oh yeah, no. When's the last time you actually shaved clean?
True.
I'll show you photos, and my wife said never again.
Is it from your profile picture when you were like 19?
No, that's not that old. That's less than 10 years old, that profile picture. You're talking about the Google profile picture, right? Yeah.
What would you do if a guy snuck up behind you with a buzzer and just yanked one off real quick?
Well, he might get decked, just for the record. Like if somebody spit in my mouth, I'd probably knock him out.
Right. Yeah. That's a well done. Well played. Okay. Thanks for bringing that up.
This is a great segue.
That was phenomenal. That is A-team material right there. That's what that is. That's A-team material. That's
I've been over on the other side, getting a little educated on how we're supposed to pod. So
being classy, the Podfathers teaching them the ways. So that's fantastic. But speaking of spitting in people's mouths and spit in my mouth, if you've watched Bad Man on Comedy Central, you get that.
That's what I thought of immediately.
That's what that was from. In an order that might surprise you. If you haven't watched it, look it up. It's not for kids. But anyways, no, speaking of spitting in people's mouths and things like that, this UND game last week turned out how we wanted. Didn't start how we wanted, but we're going to address the elephant in the room. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it. Obviously, that game was chippy, and that game got chippy right away. Being on the A team is rubbing off. Is that a verb? Next spelling, says Dustin. Anyways.
No, he says spilling.
Spilling. We'll save that for garage time.
Sir. Well
but you could see that game was getting chippy, right? And if you in the rewatch, because I was watching with our sponsor from Dakota Iron, John, and I were watching at a soccer game. He was using an iPad, I was using my phone, which was a hoot because we were never on the same time of the video. So one of us would be mad before the other one was, or he'd slam his iPad shut and I'd be like, oh, this isn't going to be good. So,
that's always a problem. I was streaming too, and we had 2 phones streaming, and we were like trying to get it synced up, and
yeah, it was miserable.
It wasn't working.
It was miserable. So I went back and rewatched, and man, there was a lot of chippy stuff happening from UND. I distinctly remember we tackled the running back in the backfield, and our backer was laying on top of him, and their offensive lineman comes in and like spears into him to knock him on top of his player who he just tackled. Like that, they were pulling shit the whole game. And then, Mason and Tucker got their personal foul penalties, and Mason's, I didn't see it at all. So Ryan Drake says Mason's personal foul looked like BS. He was hand fighting with the defender, then the whistle blew, and he went back to the huddle. I was at a dead ball foul had to be audible and weak. So I don't know. And, really, I think a lot of this, if you want to go back to how this game ended up this way, a little bit's on the refs. They didn't call anything. They did not call anything until they started calling those personal fouls. They let a lot of stuff go, and it's little stuff. And UND was playing like this, I guess, scrappy underdog team, and they were taking it up to the whistle and taking it as far as they could to egg us on and egg us on and egg us on. And then Tucker gets his personal foul, which I'm going to be honest, man, if somebody spit in my mouth, I'm doing more than throwing a football at him.
Yeah. And
honestly,
I don't know if
that is a calm response.
I don't know if it happened on that play, but
I think it did.
Yeah, it could have.
And I rewatched it. You can see the guy look over him and his head do the little jerk. Like, I think, and that's such a weird thing to make up.
Yeah,
like that's the thing where people are like, if there's proof or there was no flag, like the UND 360 guys, well, there's no flag, so I can't talk on it. Oh, shut the fuck up! Just shut up! Don't give me that. Like, sorry, that was really
Mason's was complete bullshit. He played until the whistle blew, and then he stopped.
Yeah,
that's just playing quality football as an O lineman. So, like you said, shut the F up.
Yeah,
and before on Mason's touchdown, where he like drug 3 guys into the end zone, and as he went into the end zone, no, what did I say?
Mason's.
Oh,
I said Mason. I meant Tucker's. I don't know why I said Mason.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we were all trying to figure it out. Sorry.
Oh, because we were talking about Mason's personal foul. But anyway, Tucker's touchdown where he drug like 3 dudes into the end zone. Like as he was going to the end zone, he kind of lost the ball a little bit, and then there was a UND guy was like punching at it, and he was conveniently punching in a lower area than where the ball was, and Tucker got pretty mad about that. So I think that kind of led up to Tucker getting a little angry. I mean, obviously the spitting thing alone would make you angry, but I mean, clearly they were being chippy all game, and that's a sign of a program that knew that they weren't as good as us and that they're going to have to try to get us into, bad situations and personal foul, kind of getting us, to the point where we push back, and then, it's always the second person that gets caught. And so, yeah, I mean, you could tell that was their mindset going into that game.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. But then when the refs let it go, then you end up where we were at. And then they're all of a sudden throwing laundry all over the field on us for personal fouls because we fell for some instigation stuff. And, like we said, getting spit in the mouth. Like, come on, man. Like, really, that's such a disrespectful thing to anyone in the world. But the big hubbub and hullabaloo was about Graham Spalding, right? And that hit, which rewatching that hit, yeah, that was a big hit. That's what you do as a football player. Like, and this might hurt some feelings. Football players are out there to hurt each other. They're not there to injure each other. There's a difference. If you don't understand the difference, just buckle up. Hurting somebody makes them hurt, maybe miss a play or two. Injury is when you tear their knee or break a leg or whatever maliciously. There's a difference. And you want to hurt somebody every play so he does not want to face you again. That's the way football is. It's a violent sport. It's the way it is. The taunting thing, Yeah, you know what? Guess what? If you've ever played football before, like ever, you hit somebody that hard, you are screaming something. Like that's what you do. And and I'm not justifying it. Like him doing it to their face was not good and deserved a penalty. But to be painted as this terrible, awful, cheap player is just stupid.
Yeah, no, I mean the hit wasn't bad, and the worst part was when even if he got up and they kind of you see players get up and flex a little bit after a big hit, that was fine. But then when he went back down into the face mask, that's obviously what we don't want to see. And honestly, without that, I don't think this gets talked about,
right?
Because there's those personal fouls, and that targeting happens every week. And so, yeah,
I think it's talked about.
Honestly, I don't.
North Dakota fans are the best at playing the victim in the world. UND and NDSU. If you're from North Dakota, they are the patron saints of being victims when it comes.
And they never do anything wrong.
Never, ever. Nothing's ever. North Dakotan has never done anything cheap or dirty in their lives, and they are the cleanest, classiest programs on earth.
Right.
Never mind the fact that their own player talked on a podcast about running up to Stig out of bounds after a play to talk shit to his face, and then searching him out after the game was over to talk more shit to him. That's classy though, right? But I digress. Jordan Fink nails it though.
Yeah, Jordan Fink says, I think Matt Zimmer said it best in his podcast with Gaskins 7 years ago. That hit gets him on a highlight reel. Really don't think he was headhunting, just a targeting penalty in the way the rules are written today. And I completely agree. I think the hit wasn't that bad without getting in the guy's face mask, and without, when they caught him smiling and laughing on the sideline, which who knows what he's talking about. But without those two things, this is a non-issue, and it doesn't even get talked about, I don't think.
I don't even think it was like that much of smiling or laughing when I saw it. Like there was a little bit of a smirk,
lightly. Yeah.
I mean, you just have to know that, like, when it's in review for targeting, the camera's going to be on you. Just don't do that. Don't give people something to talk about. So that's my take anyway.
Yeah,
but we can move on.
Anyways, we're on to Indiana State.
I do want to talk about some stuff in the game. First of all, huge credit to Schuster, Tommy Schuster. That dude is a baller. Like, he can play the position of quarterback. He was very good at scrambling and keeping plays alive and keeping his head downfield. He made a couple mistakes that cost him a lot, but I mean, some of those, like a couple of those back shoulder throws that, the stuff that, like, those are throws that, when Rodgers and Devontae Adams and, as Jordy Nelson used to do it. I mean, like, in their heyday, like when they were good, it's unstoppable. And they were pulling those throws off, and those are not easy throws and catches. And so between the two wide receivers they got and Schuster, that's a good team. I mean, it's and there's a reason why they put up as many points as they did, because they have a good offense. So I mean, first of all, credit to them for that.
Well, credit to them for completely having a offense set up that is, you just hate it. It's so irritating but their offense is straight set up to cover the weakness of the offensive line. That's all it is. It's quick pass, get it out. Well, on the deep ball, Schuster is really good at escaping tackles and escaping pressure. So let him run around and find somebody open on the scramble drill. And that's what their offense is. And, we said that before the game's coming. We knew that that's what they were going to run.
Yep.
And if we adjusted to it in the second half, the D-line really came alive. I mean, for them to get 5 sacks on him the way they did was really impressive.
Yeah,
and it was done that this season, I don't think.
And it was mostly with 4 guys. I mean, the UND announcers kept talking about how, like, they're getting pressure with 4 guys. And I think what you see is that UND's offensive line was able to do enough to keep Schuster up in the first half, but then our defensive line tired them out. With our depth of defensive line to be able to run guys in there and keep them fresh, it made a difference in the second half. And I think you saw that in this game and in the NDSU game, where the offense had some success against us in the first half, and then we wear their offensive line down. with our D line that just keeps going and going, and new guys in there at almost every play is tough to keep up with when the offensive line isn't switching out. They're playing all
Right.
game, and they're having to go against guys that are fresh every play. I mean, that wears a guy out. So it's that may just be, it's an uncomfortable way to play football, the way we played these last two games, where
Right.
NDSU took a 21-7 lead against us and UND took a 14-0 lead against us. It's not fun, and I would rather not. But the nice thing is the defense is, with our defensive line, it's set up to win the second half and dominate the second half. Honestly, like or offenses just can't do anything when we're getting pressure with four guys, and I mean, and quick pressure. It's just so hard to beat.
Oh yeah, getting pressure with four guys is everything. There's a reason that one of the most valuable people in the NFL is a pass rushing defensive end.
Yep.
It's such a bizarro world though, where you can say our defensive line wears their offensive line down. Like that's not normally a thing.
Right.
But yeah, you can see it happen. They're just exhausted from chasing after our DNs, and they do a good job of rushing so they do contain a quarterback like Schuster. That's why we got a lot of sacks. He was forced to try to escape up the middle, and that doesn't work out very well normally if your tackles are in their lanes, and they were.
Yep.
The offense really got going. They started clicking a little. They weren't clicking like they were at NDSU to start, where it was just penalties shooting them in the foot. And we came out, and this drives me bonkers because it seems like every time we play UND, we want to pass the ball. Like we're focused on it at the beginning, and it drives me nuts because you can run on them. We can run on them, and we did run on them. But it worked out, obviously. Huge plays. The defense just came up time and time again with huge play after huge play. The forced fumble by Quentin Hicks was the most beautiful punch out of a football I've ever seen. It was so precise and so fast. You had to watch it like the third replay to go, oh yeah, that's what happened. That's how that ball came out. That was flipping awesome. The pick six, read that like he was in their huddle.
I know that was awesome.
Which is what you got to do, because that's what they've been doing all game, is throwing those quick little stupid wide receiver screen over and over and over and over.
Yep.
Well, that's why teams don't do that, because eventually a good corner is going to go, that's enough of that. I'm going to take my chance on this one. And yep, sure enough, it worked out. So that was great. That was awesome. Special teams was such a mixed bag of great and awful at the same time.
Yeah.
Did they partially block that first punt too? Because I never heard anything on it, but it was short, and so I assumed it was because Dustman got crushed on that.
Yeah.
And I was wondering where the flag was there, but yeah, otherwise,
punt team has to clean that up. We had two punts blocked, and there was another one that should have been blocked. It's a problem. Like we're going to get to games in the playoffs where you just cannot have that happen. Like you have to be clean in special teams, and you can't have plays. I mean, granted, that block punt that turned into a touchdown was in garage time, but it just can't happen. So it's like teams, I don't know. It's not a problem for most teams. Chad jumped in with
here's Chatty
with the garage time face. But yeah, I mean, it's just normally not something you're even worried about. But with this team, it's like, are we going to get a field goal off? Are we going to get a punt off? Like it's so frustrating to have that be a problem, because it can derail a season. Like it could be a game defining play in the playoffs and it's like, why?
Yeah. Well, and I saw somebody commented, and some of it does make sense. They commented on the A-Team pod that with the amount of injuries, especially to like our linebackers and safeties, a lot of those guys are on special teams. You're getting thinner and thinner on those special teams when those guys are moving to starters, which that's fine. And I understand that. But you still can't have blocked kicks. You just can't. I mean, I don't care if I'm if me, you, and Chad are out there, like you can't allow a block punt, like just because it's so crucial, you know. And yeah, Jim Poppins has needed all that almost 50 burger to win the game. Yeah, I don't know if we needed it, but I thought we had the 50 butter burger.
Oh man, God, I wanted it. I wanted it so bad.
This close.
I tweeted it because I did the math wrong in my head because I was in the middle of gathering up a bunch of little girls from a soccer party to run to my house for the wife's Halloween party, and I was quick just trying to hammer, and I was wrong, but I don't feel bad about it. Anytime it's close enough to tweet 50 Butterburger, I feel good about it.
Especially
you can get your own Butterburger at Culver's
in Brookings or Watertown.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Especially after I predicted it and I got laughed at. Somebody said, "Oh, you're drinking the Kool-Aid," and then some other UND fan said,
"Call him out for real. Call him out for real." There you go.
He's stupid. Like there's no way they're scoring 50 against us. And then what happened?
We haven't allowed 50 points in the Lair Center. 50 years. Idiots. I was going to go jump on there and say something, but I didn't. God bless them. I hope they're listening.
What's funny is I actually went on. I tried to go on there and say something, but I don't have an account there. And I tried to create one, and they wouldn't send me the stupid confirmation email. Yeah, and it's like they knew. They knew
the best.
It's probably is for the best. They knew I was headed on there for.
Yeah, Garrett Meyer. At least we didn't do what Weber did. Oh my God! In case anybody wasn't aware, 4 safeties. Four.
Unreal.
Their long snappers snapped it over their punter's head or past him out the end zone 4 times. Could you imagine?
We're complaining about special teams.
I don't know how I'd handle it. I mean, after the 4th one, I think you're so mad that I'd be laughing. I'd just be like, like an unhinged, crazy laugh.
And they still had a chance to win that game.
Right? Should have. They absolutely should have won that game.
Yeah.
Both of those games. Yeah. We can talk about that when we get to the pick segment or the rankings or whatever, because there's a bunch of big games, but.
Yeah, like Jordan says, with all that being said, let's keep in mind, number 1, Bach was out after the first drive. 2, Noah Davis. 3, UND's got a great record in the Alara Center, and they were coming off the bye. That was a good win. And yeah, I mean, so speaking about Bach being out, that is not good. I mean, the silver lining is that we saw Savion Williamson come back, and I had almost forgot about him, honestly, because like he was good in that spring season, and then he was playing well, and then he got injured in that championship game, and it sounds like he's just kind of getting healthy again, and it's good to have him back because we're going to need him. Between him and Peyton Schaefer, I mean, it's with the amount of injuries we've had at linebacker. Thank God that's basically our deepest position that we've had. Like we kept hearing about how Jimmy's been like stealing safeties to make them linebackers, and like it's a good thing because we need them.
Right. Yeah. We're lucky that is such a deep position. Is it a break or sprain? Darren asks about Bach. I would not expect him back for a while. We don't have any for sure information on that or anything, but I wouldn't expect to see him for the majority of the rest of the season, which sucks because I mean he isn't just a linebacker; he is a Buck Buchanan level linebacker,
right?
That's really tough to lose.
Yeah, and hopefully we can get Freeman back from injury. I mean, because we've already got, McGoy's.
He was listed on the 2 deep, wasn't he?
Bach?
Freeman.
Oh, Freeman was.
Freeman
was. Yeah.
So,
thank God we've got
2 deep's about as good as the paper it's written on, but.
Right. That's the truth. But
it's 2022, Ben. What paper?
Okay, fine.
Yeah. But when it comes down to it, bringing that up, Bach getting injured, if it was the beginning of the season, right, and somebody came up to us and said, You're going to lose Isaiah Davis for a couple of games, possibly a stretch of games. You're going to lose Tucker Kraft for 6 weeks, and you're going to lose Adam Bach for, let's, for argument's sake, say 6 to 8 weeks. Would anybody here be like, oh, yeah, we're definitely going to be the number one team in the country, and we'll have run through USD, NDSU, and UND without a scratch? I mean, that's really impressive. So the depth of this team has been it's been breathtaking. It's really impressive how deep this team has been with the injuries.
Yeah, you've seen guys come in just and not skip a beat. I mean, it's been unreal. Like it's been, you just haven't noticed it. You haven't noticed as much like when guys go down as we did in the past. Like in the past, you're like, oh, geez, you know, that guy went down and, you know, we're clearly weak there now. But it's just not a weakness. I mean, credit to, you know, like the guys you mentioned at linebacker that have been stepping up. Credit to Amar Johnson stepping up with Isaiah Davis out. And I want to give another shout out to Mark Gronowski. The kid just wins games. Like he's a baller.
Yes.
I mean, it just week after week, he just is so impressive. Like the throws he makes and he's just so smart the way he plays football. He's just so fun to watch, and we're lucky to have him. It was pointed out that if he can lead us to, you know, like a undefeated regular season outside of Iowa, it'll be his first two seasons will be a top 1 or 2 seed, which is unheard of. Like for somebody coming through in the Missouri Valley to lead your team to a top 2 seed the first 2 seasons you're playing.
Well, and Kyle pointed out his only FCS loss on his resume where he played the game was UND last year in the spring.
Yeah.
That's been his only FCS loss. That's incredible. You can't count the Sam Houston game because he was out the second drive. You can't count that one. I mean, that's incredible. You know, Rick Jensen says with linebacker getting thin, any chance a couple of the highly touted true freshman linebackers get some action, use up a couple of their games. I don't know what game count they're at already. It might be one of those things now where maybe you're hoping to save them in case a couple more people do get injured, then you truly have to use them. I know you try not to burn somebody's red shirt as much as possible because you are way better when you are 22, 23 years old compared to being 18. That's just the facts of life. So I don't know how they're going to run that. I'd say it's a distinct possibility, especially if we have another guy get hurt or go down, depending how they look in practice. You know, on all these injury things, just with Stig, I mean, we're not going to know. I think if you haven't learned by now that they do like to play well, maybe he'll be back, well, maybe he won't game, then you haven't noticed all the ors on the depth chart.
And like Kendall and Randy Jacobs point out that by the end of the regular season, like we absolutely hate it.
Yeah, but I still hate it.
Given our injury situation, it may be a good thing to be able to get some guys healthy.
Well, who's to say it's not contributing to the injury situation is my counterpoint to that.
You're not wrong.
Not getting a breather.
Just being an optimist here, Brendan. Just trying to find a silver lining.
I will never be an optimist about whatever asshat put that conference schedule together because I hate it with the passion of a burning sun.
It does suck pretty bad.
I don't remember a single team ever having to play 3 Dakota schools in a row. I don't remember a team ever not getting a bye week until the end of the season. I don't remember any of this garbage. It's just ridiculous.
It's awful.
But what do you do?
The last thing I'm going to say about the UND game is that credit to our offense for scoring touchdowns instead of field goals.
Yes.
We said going into this game that we cannot kick as many field goals as we did against NDSU, and we didn't. We finished drives. We didn't have any field goals. We had 7 touchdowns, and I mean that's what won us the game. If we have a couple field goals instead of touchdowns, that's a sketchy game. Right. And so credit to the offense for putting the ball in the end zone.
Yes. There's nothing I can add to that. That's exactly right.
Yep. All right. Well, I think we can move on from that game. Big news. Well, when did this news come out about ears up?
The
I don't
day
know.
after
right
you talked
after the
about
pod. Yeah.
The day
yeah.
after,
So
like you
we
professed it
we
to
willed
be.
this into existence. So we talked
Yeah.
about creating a beer called Bison Tears, which we're still going to work on.
Yes.
But then Fernson comes out with this announcement that they're making this awesome ears up beer, which I have right
I have
here.
it too.
Oh,
Yep.
these cans
They're sexy.
are just like I want to decorate my house with them. And I might. I
Mhm.
may just keep every empty that I drink out of these cans.
You know, those
you see how
labels
many-
pull off real nice too.
Do they?
Oh,
Did
yeah.
Might
you
have
see
to
how
do that
many
then.
cans that they sold the first day?
I didn't know if that was a real tweet or if that was just being facetious.
Those
I think that was real.
no, Mike Lockerham works for the athletic department, I'm pretty sure. And he
Oh,
said
yes, he does.
12,990 cans the first day. They sold out in Brookings by 1:30 p.m., which is insane. But you know, they are selling it in Sioux Falls. The downtown Fernson's location, I think, is a little cheaper than anywhere else because they don't have any shipping factored into there. I picked up a buttload there. They let me pick up as many as I wanted. So if you happen to be in the Sioux Falls area and want to snag some without a limit, run to the Fernson's downtown. There was a lot of people going in there. I went in, I grabbed myself a box to carry a full case worth with me. And then after I snagged them, like 4 more people walked through the door and grabbed more of it.
Yeah. Ray, if you don't get your hands on some, stop by our tailgate.
Yes.
We'll have a couple 4-packs for you for sure.
Well, we owe Ray and Deb a 4-pack at least anyways for the beer they brought us.
yeah.
So if they want to bring some more of that chocolate milk stout that they brought,
Yeah.
I'm more than willing to swap as much as they want. Just saying, I would.
I got some other stouts that Deb might like, so I'm gonna try and throw a couple in the old cooler.
And the best part is it's actually good tasting beer too. Like
It's
some
a
people
Kolsch,
are,
right?
I don't know if it's a Kolsch.
That's what it says. That's what it says on the Untapped app. Is it's a Kolsch.
Oh, well, there you
Yes. Did
Kolsch
you not
is
pick any up yet, Chad?
It's a pretty.
I have
Go
not.
ahead.
No.
Sorry.
It's a pretty easy drinking craft beer. Like people are pretty nervous about craft beer sometimes,
Yep.
but it's about as easy of a drinking craft beer there is. It tastes really good.
Mm-hmm.
John Green says it's sold out again today, at least the stores I went to. Yeah, it's going off the shelves real quick in Brookings anyway.
Yeah, Brendan's
know-
delivery service.
So in Sioux Falls, check out Fernson, and then Willikers I saw had some too.
Yep.
Yeah,
somebody said Willikers had it. That's right.
I'm
they'll
sure
keep pumping it
JJ's
out.
has it as well. But yeah.
Deb's coming to the tailgate. Whoop, whoop.
Nice.
So yeah, I'll have some for him there. I'll pick up.
I'm dumbfounded by the fact that nobody's pointed out how many semi-loads of beer comes into Brookings for Hobo Week every year. Like, I know for a fact I've seen 3 Budweiser semis in town at the same time on a Thursday. Like,
oh yeah,
send the house. That's what I
Right.
wanted to tweet, but apparently nobody uses that statement. I thought I knew what it meant, but I guess not.
I don't know. I remember being a door guy at Sully's in Brookings, and they had the beer truck came to Sully's multiple times throughout Hobo Day to restock the bar because they would run out of kegs and stuff. So I don't know why this is a surprise. Probably, you know what? They probably went off of the sales of that Coyote beer. That, for instance,
that
also
is
made.
probably why.
And they judged off of that, and they forgot that a Coyote fan, their fan, can only drink so much, and
Right.
there's like a bunch of SDSU people. So that's probably was the mathematics that kind of failed them there.
Yeah. So if you're not able to get your hands on one, we do have some. Stop by our tailgate. Also stop by our tailgate to check out our new addition to our tailgate. I unfortunately won't be there until later, but I'll get the addition to Brendan or Chad. They'll have it up. Come check that out.
Yep.
Terry's bringing a blender, and I guess we're doing margaritas. I think he said he's bringing that stuff. So it's a drill powered, like a DeWalt drill powered blender. So
my God.
Doing Hobo Day Margs.
I was gonna say, should I bring the the
I mean,
margarita
officially,
mixer
if
10,000.
tailgating rules, people are listening. Sorry, brother. If tailgating rules, people are listening. There's no margaritas, but
Yeah,
yes.
we would never do that. That would be illegal and frowned upon, and we would never do such a thing.
Why not?
Hard liquor is prohibited.
Technically.
Ben,
Have you not read the rules, Ben?
God, you damn
Are you
criminal!
serious?
Yes. So are
I
glass
thought you just couldn't
bottles.
have glass bottles.
No, hard liquor is prohibited.
Hard
You can't
liquor
have
is
kegs.
prohibited.
Like when myself and Seth Cook, the guy that runs Wooden Legs,
That's why we
went one
tailgate
year.
in the library a lot, so they don't
Sorry.
mess with us. Sorry, go ahead.
No
Jeb.
worries. I never do it to anybody else. Ever. No,
Never,
Seth
never.
and I one year we got a party ball because the rules said you couldn't bring kegs, but it didn't say anything about party balls. And we put it in one of those ice cube, the cube coolers.
Uh-huh.
It was pretty epic. So
Nice.
we're like,
I
we
like
got
it.
stopped by UPD and they're like, you can't have that. And we're like, why? Rules say you can't have a keg. We opened it up and said, that's a party ball. I didn't have a keg. And they just laughed and walked away.
Nice.
Boom, lawyered.
But how cool is it though to be drinking? I mean, this needs to be. We need to talk to Fernson and have this be the official beer of the Jackrabbit Illustrated podcast, because it's just so cool to be drinking this beer on the podcast.
The only way it could be cooler is if I got to actually drink Bison Tears.
Oh, I have.
We're gonna make
complete
Bison
faith
Tears
this will happen. Yeah.
Yes. For the record, was it me or you who brought it up?
I don't know. It was a joint effort, I think.
Teamwork.
I'm still not sold on the lime beer, but whatever.
Oh, it's got to be salt and lime. Anyway.
Just so salty. We'll add some of Chad's salt to it.
We'll move on.
On to the next.
Let's see. What else do we have to talk about? Let's pull up Missouri Valley standings. Or should we go over last week's games first? Let's go over last week's games first.
I don't know. What's your spreadsheet say?
We didn't do as well. We were pretty hot. We cooled off this week. You and I beat Missouri State, which Missouri State, what happened?
They're every team's beatable for them.
It's just
everybody's beatable.
They
just don't beat them. It's very sad.
Yeah. So you and I beat them 41-20, which you and I doesn't beat anybody by that much. So you and I covered that one. You got that one right. I got that one wrong. Youngstown State squeaked by Western Illinois, 28-27. They did not cover. And that game, they were down by, I think it was, I want to say it was 10 points with 3 minutes left in that game. And I didn't get to watch the end of it, but somehow they scored a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. And I think they kicked a field goal as time expired to win that game against Western Illinois. So good for the Gwins.
I remember someone jinxing himself, doing everything in his power to screw up his parlay he put in the group chat, and then just getting killed by Western Illinois, and that was the best.
Yeah, the good thing is though that I put the same thing in, and Southern Illinois saved me. But speaking of Southern Illinois, they did lose to USD, but it was a teaser, so I had enough points. But USD beat Southern Illinois 27-24. The Aiden Bauman era may have started down in Vermilion. Yeah. They pulled Carson Camp. At first, I heard it was for an injury, but he was not injured. He was just fine watching on the sideline. And Bauman looked okay. I mean, he's got a big arm on him. He's a big dude. And so it'll be just interesting to see what they do going forward, if they put Camp back in, or if they keep Bauman in going forward, or if they try to redshirt him. Although he's already had a redshirt year, though, hasn't he? I think he redshirted at Bauman.
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure he redshirted wherever it was, Iowa State or wherever he was.
Iowa State, yep.
Yeah.
Definitely Iowa State.
Yeah. So I think his redshirt year's gone. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, since they they're not making the playoffs this year. And then Illinois State beat Indiana State 27-21. They did not cover though, and we picked Indiana State to cover, which we got that one. And then Brendan did not have enough faith in SDSU to cover, which burnt him. SDSU won 49-35.
Happy to get burned.
I was pretty darn close. My prediction, I think, was 52-28, and without that blocked punt in garage time for a touchdown, I would have been almost on the money with that. So credit to me for that. But we both went 20.
You can't get credit for would have been.
Yeah, well, we shouldn't be getting
at the books. Do they pay out if
punts.
if a block kick hadn't happened?
Anyway, we both went 2 and 3. We're both 28 and 25 overall. All right, let's take a peek at the Missouri Valley standings. Chad, if you got them. Jordan Fink, very good questions. Yep. Is the Missouri Valley going to get only 3 teams in the playoffs this year? Sure, starting to look that way. That's the talk right now.
It's plausible.
It's if you look at the standings here, you've got, SDSU, NDSU are shoo-ins, obviously, and then you've got Southern Illinois, Illinois State, and possibly UND. I mean, here's the deal: like the way it sits, like there could be anywhere from 3 to 5 that get in. Just kind of depends on how the rest of the season plays out, whether teams beat each other up or if a couple teams kind of rise to the top. I think it's more likely that 4 get in than 3 or 5. That'd be my prediction.
Well, it's plausible, like in a scenario where we have 5 teams get to 7 wins, right?
Right.
UND is going to be one of those teams, and with the way the rest of the country is looking, it is entirely possible they'll look at like a team like North Dakota and go, okay, you're 7-4, but who'd you beat? Because the bottom of the valley is bad. Like bad. Missouri State is not good. Not anymore, right? USD, not good. Indiana State, not good by record. Western Illinois, not good.
Really bad.
Yeah, really bad. Youngstown State, mediocre at best, right? So who did they beat? They don't have any good wins. So, and if UND were to get left out in that scenario, their fans would absolutely have the biggest aneurysm in the world because they got left out when they're in the Big Sky due to a bad loss over their good wins. And then a Missouri Valley team got picked for their good losses. So they will absolutely shit a chicken if that happened. And it'd be hysterical.
Hey man, but UND plays the number 1 team in the WAC this week.
Oh yeah, and they're trying to pump that up like some resume builder. No offense to Dustin, our boy from the WAC, the WAC off. They got a WAC off this weekend. So yeah, I mean, sorry, Abilene Christian just really doesn't quite do it for me in the good win column for the playoffs. It just not to be that guy. They're just, I don't know, not going to be hanging. If that's the win you got to hang your hat on, I wouldn't feel too sturdy about it. Maybe if you had 9 wins and that was the win you were hanging your hat on. Right.
So back to the Missouri Valley standings here. We've got SDSU at 1, Southern Illinois at 2, Illinois State at 3, and all the way down at 4 is NDSU, and then UND, UNI, Youngstown State, and then those other bad teams that Brendan mentioned that are USD is the only one with a conference win, and then we've got 3 teams with 0 conference wins, which is kind of amazing. And let's go to the top 25. Dustin, what did Dustin say about the WAC?
He said they aren't the number 1 team in the WAC that SFA is. Have you seen their crazy mathematical solution to their psychotic conference thing? It's so the way I think they came up with it, right, is they went out like on Mardi Gras weekend, right? And they got really drunk. Then they snorted cocaine, right? They snorted cocaine and then did, like some X and everything. And then they magicked this up and it's super weird. And I don't know. It doesn't make any sense if you look at the standings and then conference wins and losses and overall records. It's psycho.
Yeah. So we got the top 25 up here. SDSU's number 1, Sac State's number 2, Montana State's number 3.
No. Oh, sorry.
You're answering questions that nobody can see.
I saw the question. Just no, UND is not the better North Dakota team. They could beat NDSU, but they're just, I wouldn't say they're the better team.
Anyway, Montana State number 3, NDSU number 4, Weber State number 5. Then we got Chattanooga, Holy Cross, Incarnate Word, Idaho, and Delaware. So we got 2 teams in the top 4, and then we've from the Valley. Outside of that, we've got only 2 more in the top 25. We got Southern Illinois at 25 and UND at 24, which is so weird. Like, especially after some departures to the FBS, like there are less top end FCS teams, and the Valley still only has 2 in the top 23, which is so weird. Usually we're talking about like, 4 Valley teams in the top 10 or like 5 in the top 15. It's just so weird to have this be what the Valley is this year. But it is what it is.
Darren, to answer your question on Holy Cross, they did beat Buffalo, who is a solid FBS team. It's a heck of a lot better than beating Colorado State anyways. And every one of their games, except for like Harvard, has been by multiple scores on average. So I think they are a solid team.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could ask the same question about NDSU.
NDSU, Montana.
Who has NDSU beat? And
Jackson State.
Lawrence Smith dodged that question on his post, by the way. His power rankings, he's got NDSU, and he says those power rankings are based on this season only. And it's like, well, why is NDSU there then?
Oh, his power rankings, that's week to week, and that's just
Well, I know, but
yeah. I don't know. He's doing that whole thing is just to tweak people's tails, so I don't even look at them. I'm going to be honest. Sorry, Lawrence, if you do listen, I don't look at those at all because I know you're just getting a rise. So
yeah. Anyway, John Green asks, maybe you'll get this in your picks this week. But who do you have for Idaho at Sac State? I don't know what the line is, but Eck has done an amazing job as a first year at Moscow. Agreed. Eck's doing a great job at Idaho. Kudos to him. Idaho's in the Big Sky mix. We're not going to pick that. I will check out that line quick, but
I could see Idaho taking that one for sure. If it was in Idaho, I would put money on Idaho actually winning that game. Just with how they're set up offensively and defensively. But
you may, if you like Idaho in that game, you may want to bet on it then.
What's the line?
Sac State by 12.5.
Holy give me Idaho all day. After Sac State just had an emotional overtime win versus Montana. V's up, baby.
V's up. Take that line.
Heck yeah, I'm taking that line.
Yeah.
Why did we not start making these puns when he coached here?
I know.
What's wrong with us? God, we suck.
Yeah. Let's get into this week's picks segment brought to you by Shenanigans. Shenanigans is the place to watch away games. I don't know if I didn't see any. It'd be nice if we got some pictures from Shenanigans on away games. Didn't see any from last week, but maybe we'll get some this week.
Right.
But yeah, go check out Shenanigans. Next week. Sorry. Check out Shenanigans for away games.
Yeah, as Southeast Staters always has a big fling there on Saturdays for game day, so it's pretty awesome. I do want to point out we were talking about the whack craziness. Just got a shout out our boy Dustin, who's always on here commenting. He does do the Whack Sun podcast, so if you want to try to get a better understanding of their calculus formula that they're using, go listen to that. They do a good job of trying to explain it.
I guess I need to go listen to that because ACU.
I haven't got to it this week.
They're 2-0 in the conference, and SFA is 2-1 in the conference. So I don't know what's going on there.
Right.
I'm sure Dustin's got an explanation though. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about these picks. Yes. We've got the game where Abilene Christian goes to UND. UND's favored by 7.5 at home. I'll take UND. I think that their offense is good enough to score. I bet they score at least 40 in this game. So I'll take UND.
Yeah, their offense is capable of putting up a huge amount of points. And Abilene Christian comes from the Southland before they went to the WAC. So obviously they don't have any defense in their name. So I will take the Undies to put up a ton of points in the grain bin.
Yep. And then we've got USD going to Youngstown State. This game's a pick'em, which is kind of interesting. I'm torn on this one because if USD plays Aiden Bauman, I kind of like USD. It's kind of a shot at Carson Camp, but I think he was kind of holding him back a little bit. I did actually go and watch the second half of that game against SIU. And once Bauman opened up the pass game a little bit, their run game was having a little more success. I'm going to take USD in this game. I think they've still got some fight in them.
This is at Illinois State, right?
At Youngstown State.
At Youngstown? Sorry.
Yeah,
Jeez.
correct.
At Youngstown State. If it was at home, I would take USD. But USD, in my mind, is not much different than UND when it comes to playing at home or away. So give me the sharply dressed Little Birds.
There you go. And then we got Western Illinois going to Missouri State. Missouri State's favored by 16.5 in this one. A team that doesn't have a conference win is favored by 16.5, which is kind of interesting. And, before last week, I think I would have taken Missouri State, but with the way Western Illinois played against in their game last week against Youngstown State, I think they can stay within 16.5. So I'll stick Western Illinois.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I think Darren or somebody made a comment about building a team out of transfers, and well, I think you can build a solid team out of transfers. I think once it starts going south, it is going to hit the bottom of the barrel. So
and it has gone south.
It has gone so south. So I'm gonna go ahead and I think sneaky upset. I think Western Illinois might get their first win of the conference this year. I think Missouri State is completely checked out, and they're already looking at getting back in the portal.
There you go. Then you've got UNI going to Southern Illinois. Southern Illinois is a 3-point favorite in this one. After losing at USD, I'll take Southern Illinois in this one all day. I think they have a bounce back game and beat UNI by, 10-14.
Is that what you think is going to happen, or is that what you're hoping is going to happen? So UNI isn't playing for the playoffs next week.
I mean, yeah, that's something we talked about. It'd be nice to have UNI's motivation go away, but
right. I think they're both going to be super motivated, but I think the Salukis are just a better team this year. But man, what's the line again?
3. SIU by 3.
There's that Farley Devil magic, man. Once their backs against the wall.
Yeah, their backs are against the wall. They got that going for them.
I'm going to take the Mark Farley Devil magic.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
He has sacrificed 13 goats to the football gods, and they're not going to lose this one.
We've got Illinois State going to NDSU after NDSU's bye. It'll be interesting to see how NDSU bounces back. NDSU's favored by 17.5 in this one, which is a big line. I think I'll take Illinois State in this one to cover at least 17.5. I think NDSU wins the game, but I don't think they win by that much.
That's a huge line.
That's a big line, yeah.
See, there's part of me that thinks that Illinois could pull the upset here, but I think that's more my heart hoping than anything else. It's coming out of a bye week. They're still going to be butthurt about the game with us because they haven't had any time to put some real anti-butt hurt salve on there. So I'm going to go ahead and take the homeless cows on this one.
17.5. I love it.
17.5 because I just don't think Illinois State has the horses to stand up for 4 quarters, and I think the second half is going to get away from them.
I think they've got the defense though. Because
I don't think they do. I don't think they have the run defense. I think there's like 4 teams in the FCS who have the run defense, and 2 of them aren't in our conference.
Yeah. You're probably right. We'll see how that game goes. And then you've got our game, the Hobo Day, Indiana State coming into town. We are a large 25.5 point favorite, which is...
Nope.
so many
on
points.
Hobo Day. No, I'm not touching those points. That's too many points.
You can't. Like,
it's such a ludicrous.
Uh,
how do they come up with that number?
I
Illinois
don't know.
State has had 5 straight 1-score games. They haven't lost by more than 1 touchdown in the
Indiana
last
State.
5 games straight. Indiana State, whatever. The Trees have not lost by more than a score. They have lost every game, but it's been a 1-score every game.
That's what's like very trappish about this game is that
it's spooky.
You know, you look at the standings, and we called them a bad team before. Like, we were like, yeah,
right.
They're 0-4 in the conference. They're a terrible team. Well, yeah, you look at their games. They've lost them by, I think, 6. They've lost by 6 3 times and 5 1 time in their conference games. So they're not a terrible team. They just haven't won close games. I think their defense is suspect, but they have a good offense.
Yes.
So this, you know, could potentially. Are we looking at another potential 50 Butterburger? Possibly. Could be a, you know, kind of a similar game to the way UND played out, where it was kind of a shootout. And so, yeah, I think, but 25.5 is just too many. I think I'm going to predict this same score that I predicted for last game, 52-28. We'll win by 24 points.
Yeah, you know, like Dustin Helton says, they hung with NDSU for most of that game. And while that's true, I do think we beat NDSU by 14 if it was at home. So, you know, how's that math work out?
Yeah.
You know, Illinois State was beating them 20-0. And that game ended up 27-20. 21.
Yeah, which is
27-21. Like, and they only scored 1 point after like halfway through, or 1 touchdown like after halfway through the second quarter for Illinois State. So that was crazy. The chain gang's gonna have to get to the quarterback early and often and get him making bad decisions if we want to win by 25.5 points. That's for sure. Otherwise, I think it could be a tough game. I really want to see us come out fast in this game, because we've been coming out slow over and over and over. And yeah, it's worked out, but eventually it's going to burn you. And this Indiana State offense, if it gets rolling, can put up a lot of points. So we don't want to let them get hot. You don't want to let that quarterback get in rhythm and get hot. So for that reason, that's why I'm taking the Trees. I do think we come away with a victory. I'm not going to put a point on it, obviously, as I say every week. But
are you going to go along with the Culver's 50 Butterburger or no?
I would, you know, if we had a scale, if we had a Butterburger scale, like, and I had to bet Scoopy tokens, like I was betting 1 to 10 Scoopy tokens on the potential of a 50 Butterburger this week.
Yeah.
I would bet 7 Scoopy tokens if you gave me 2-1 odds that we were going to get a 50 Butterburger.
So this is a high Scoopy token confidence.
This is a Scoopy token game. This is pretty heavy Scoopy token confidence. I don't go 7 very often.
I like it. Yeah, I do think there's potential for that to happen, because they have given up plenty of points this year. And like you said, some of the points that they got were in garage time. So I mean, they gave up 48 to Youngstown State.
Right.
So I think, and they gave up 49 to Montana. Did Chad pop in with this garage time face again?
You say garage time 3 times in a row in front of the mirror, Chad, with that face shows up over your shoulder.
We need to get some like an animation that when his screen goes on, the garage goes up and it's his face.
Right. Oh my God.
Anyway,
Hobo Day should be a blast. Get your tickets.
Yeah.
Get your tickets.
Don't miss
somebody
out.
asked, I missed the comment, but somebody asked if we have predictions for the attendance. There's about 1,500 tickets left around 6 o'clock tonight. So I'm shooting for 18,000 plus.
Yep.
I really am. I wouldn't be shocked if it ended up selling out. I also wouldn't be shocked if it ended up at like 17.5. So
it's already at 17.5.
Sweet spot. You know, listen, I can be bad at math if I want to be. I'm not the engineer here, okay?
Yeah.
I turn wrenches for a living.
All right. Well, we almost kept it under an hour. We're going to keep it under an hour and 1 minute,
Huzzah!
which may be a record for us. Jim, he was giving us crap on the 18 pod, asking if we were going to go 145 tonight. But anyway,
We'll do
Isn't
that
it
during
when
one
we
of the-
don't use the time on the A team, you guys pick up the slack and use up that extra time? It's kind of
Yeah,
like
it's got-
timeouts with
Yeah.
Stig not ever calling them in the first half. We can
Gotta use
them in
them
the
up.
second half.
He calls them in the first half. Oh my god!
I know more now than ever. It's an old trope I play, but
Jim asked, did everyone see the email on the traffic update to the entrance to the tailgate lots?
No.
I did not see that.
I'm sure you have to. Yes, it's always different for Hobo Day because you can't come in off of Madera because of the parade route.
Right. Yep.
So
you got to come in from the north.
Let's pull that up. I don't know. Did anybody get the email?
I'll look. Hold on. Give me a hot second here.
I didn't see an email.
Take a quick peek. See, I haven't seen it yet.
Jim, do you know who it's sent by? Like athletics or? I got a really cool text today for inviting me to the alumni tent, so that was cool. And I said, "Hey, cool, I'll be right next door. Just come on over.
Wave.
You want some good beer? I got lots of it." So,
apparently,
Dustin, we're not going in the parade. I'm putting the kibosh on that, Dustin. We are not going in the parade. I know you're a big parade Mardi Gras guy. Hobo is a little more family friendly than Mardi Gras, so me beer bonging beers and shotgunning on the float will be slightly frowned upon in that setting as the high school band marches behind us. So,
it is one of the better parades, though.
It is it's huge. It takes forever.
It is really long. That's a problem, but it's fun.
I like it, and I'm not a parade guy. I generally don't like parades, if I'm being honest. I do
love is how involved the students are. Like they seem to be like they take pride, like the Greek life people, and then all the a lot of the departments seem to have their own float. So
and the student organizations,
yeah.
We always go and get pancakes, which is pancakes at Wooden Legs. Before watch half the parade till the pride goes by, and then Brendan has our spot. So hopefully we can do that again this year.
I'll be there earlier than bright and early. I might be jumping some curbs. Not that I would ever do that.
That's a really long thing. So,
my God.
Madera's closed from 7 to 11.
7 to 11. Guess I'm getting there at 6. It's just
portion
me
of
this
North
week,
Campus
so
Drive.
I can get there as early as I want. Be there smoking cigars.
So you can come in through North Campus Drive until 11 o'clock.
Yep. It says right here, for example, if you park in the Library Jackrabbit Club lot, which they should just rename the Jackrabbit Book Club lot,
you think, right?
You can access that area by entering from the Highway 14 bypass. Like I said, so you come in down the north.
You can't come from the south.
From the north.
Yeah. That's it. That's the change. Ta-da.
Yeah. But you also can't come down Madera at all. Like you have to come on the campus drive.
Whatever.
Yeah. Which is pretty standard for Hobo Day because they stage on Highway 14 to get down Madera.
Yeah.
Because the parade's so long, like all the way the parade procession, the floats start at like the what's that called? The barn, the horse unit. That's where it starts.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. That's what it's called, the horse unit. So
yeah, it's the horse unit. Not the barn. The barn was a former athletics facility. Chad.
Well, the barn. Right. I was actually trying to.
You're making it worse.
I was trying to think of the name of the place that has Little I. What's the name of that? The meat labs up there too. It's like I never went up there, so I don't remember the name of it.
Me neither.
It's in the arena. It's an arena. So, Little I barn. See, I wasn't wrong.
Little I barn.
Little I barn.
Look at you go. Look at you go. All right.
We've gone too long. This is Jim's fault. I blame this on Jim.
This is all Jim's fault. Damn it, Jim. Get your act together.
All right,
it, Jim.
As always,
Nada.
Go big, go blue, go Jacks.
Go Jacks.